I'm bringing Jeff Kreisler to the stage. He's been a really wonderful supporter of ours for a couple of years. We're not really sure why. We actually met him at Caroline's Comedy Club. He was doing a great show. Come and talk about what it was, because you always know better than me, you know. And we thought he was fabulous, and we went up to him at the end of it, and we said, hey, would you ever do anything with us? And he said yes, and that's kind of how it happened. What do you think?
It's honey?
Yeah, it's honey. Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing in it but pure honey.
Ellen K, everybody! Ellen K!
I just want to bring you up.
Thank you. Well, we almost hugged. Before I begin, I would want to. Okay. After this, I don't know about the rest of you. I would love to hear more about Jerry Stiller's lesbian experiences. Thank you, everybody. Good, thank you for keeping. By the way, side note, I don't know if you remember, I was part of Liz Winstead's show, the Shoot the Messenger show down in Acme. You two were guests on the show, and my wife and I were on the show together, performers and writers. We said, you two have had a long, distinguished life and career as a couple of writer-performers. What's the secret to how do you keep the performance, the creativity, and the life together? And Anne, you said communication, and Jerry, you said Anne is always right. Two problems. One, I'm the husband, and two, my wife's name is Anne. So I'm fucked. Thank you very much.
We're in the ballpark.
Yeah, we're in the ballpark. Hey guys, please, a round of applause for everyone you've seen tonight. All the performers, for Ellen and Seth, and Dream behind the bar, and everybody. I would never be able to remember all the names of all the performers. Amy, that was great. Amy, we met. Yeah, well, we met not too long ago when you came into my office. I work as a nurse's aide. All right, so I've been watching. Okay. So I don't want to take too much time, everybody. We're all going to die soon. So I wanted to say a little about myself, maybe talk a little bit about how we met, about Russia, which is sort of why I guess we're all going to die soon, and some other things. First of all, as I mentioned, I am married. Sorry, guys. And my female wife and I, we have a little baby and an adorable little alarm clock that gets me out of bed every day, no matter how sad I am. And there's a truth about having kids. I'm sure many of you know. It sounded cliche before I experienced it, but having a kid changes your perspective, changes what's important to you. Like, I'd always been interested in politics. That's why I have a jacket. But I'm like, well, I can think and spend all my time thinking about my baby, or I could think about politics. You know what I mean? I could worry about my baby, or I could worry about someone like Chris Christie. I could obsess over this adorable little ball of blubber that spews nastiness and nonsense out of every hole in its body. It needs to be protected because it has no idea how the real world works. Or I could obsess over my baby. It's just warm that up. I got a couple more of those. All right. I do worry about my baby. I worry about my kid a lot. I mean, first of all, one of us has to get a real job. And I worry about the challenges that are going to confront him, the challenges that are ancient and timeless, and the unknown ones. Like ancient, timeless ones, maybe religion. We see it flaring up. Like, I'm Jewish, my wife is Catholic. As you may know, if the mother's Catholic and the father is Jewish, that makes the child a cashew. Sorry, that was really nutty. I swear to God, that's it. I'm done with rim shot worthy jokes. Just help me out if I need it. I don't actually worry too much about religion. I know there's a lot in the world that's being affected, but I feel like we're a pretty secular country, or you can become secular people here. But I worry about sort of what our new religion is, and that's technology. I am honestly freaked out about technology and my kid. Like cell phones. Does anybody here not have a cell phone? What? You mean you don't have a cell phone? Burn him, he's a witch. Everybody has cell phones. My nephew has a cell phone, he's 5. Right? My grandma has a cell phone and she doesn't have real hips. You know when they find a lost tribe in the jungle, even they're like, oh, Nanook. El Look out, lion! And the reason why I worry that everybody has cell phones is because of all they know about us. Right? They know who we call, who we text, where we go online. They got GPS. They know where we are all the time. They know our preferences. And everybody's all freaked out about the government spying on us. I'm not worried about the government. I'm worried about Amazon.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, Amazon has drones, and they have this, like, precog shipping where they'll send you stuff before you order it. Like, really. It's true. What is a more realistic threat to your life, the life that you live every day? An unexpected visit from the CIA or an unexpected box of 50 Shades of Grey? That is worse. And they are going to get in your face with all your information. Like, the best basic way will be advertising, right? And it's going to be, like, really personal. It's not just going to be simple, like, Bing, have a Coke. It's going to be personal. Bing, have a Coke, Jeff.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll bring back your dad. My dad is fine, he's just emotionally absent. I already get ads on my phone. I don't know about anybody else. I get ads. It's just general, like I try not to put too much info. Like, they know I'm a male above age 30. So I get all these advertisements for, like, mortgages and sexual aids.
Yeah.
I don't need information about mortgages. And the other thing that I will, not the other thing, but one thing I'll talk about now, while I have time, that I worry about my son. Don't worry about, there's no segues there. I worry about, honestly, there's technology, and there is sort of the future. Like we see all these things that are happening around the world, and we seem safe here, but they can affect us. And the big thing, to me, is Russia. Like, I studied Russian studies in college. I studied USSR. We met at an event for Russian journalism. Does anybody here remember the USSR? Yeah, so a few people. For those of you who don't, there's some young people here. You weren't born yet? Well, that's fine. That's scary. Get out. I'll tell you, the USSR, the Soviet Union, it was a superpower. And what it was a loose group of nominally independent states, right, governed centrally by a ruling elite that controlled the government, economy, and media. And the whole thing collapsed because of a false economic myth, a failed invasion of Afghanistan, and the fact that their leaders were chosen according to party and popularity by their brothers, a rigged election, and a secret council of elders. Really glad we're not like that. We are not like that. I think the biggest way we're not like that is what you're seeing tonight, is sort of our ability to express ourselves. And even as the voices of dissent are sort of maybe quashed or co-opted, we can still speak and say what we want and say it directly. And this is a big reason that I got into comedy, was the Soviet Union, was the difference is there was real oppression there. I mean, the Soviet people, the Russian people, for them, for centuries now, it's been the same government, just different flags. I mean, it's been oppression, and as long as they have enough food on the table, they don't revolt when they run out of food. And they never were able to express their concern in the Soviet Union. And what really, honest to goodness, I studied Russian history in college. What got me into comedy was looking at how they did express themselves and how they had to do it so covertly. And this is the second time I've ever read from this book. First time was at this event we did. This is called The Man in the Black Coat. It's Russia's literature of the absurd. Now imagine you're living in the Soviet Union, which was as oppressive as anything you can think of, particularly about the dissent. If you were known as a dissenter, you got sent to camps up in Siberia, and it was it. I want to read 3 very short stories, literally half-page stories. Russia's literature of the absurd, and this was as best as they could communicate about their real lives. This is by a gentleman by the name of Daniel Carnes, Blue Notebook number 10. There once was a red-haired man who had no eyes and no ears. He also had no hair, so he was called red-haired only in a manner of speaking. He wasn't able to talk because he didn't have a mouth. He had no nose either. He didn't even have any arms or legs. He also didn't have a stomach, and he didn't have a back, and he didn't have a spine, and he also didn't have any other insides. He didn't have anything, so it's hard to understand whom we're talking about. So we'd better not talk about him anymore. That's how they said, our lives are fucked. Story number 2, falling out old woman. An old woman fell out of a, by the way, this is the only comedy show to go to where every performer reads something. Consider yourselves elite. All right. An old woman, I just went through puberty, an old woman fell out of a window because she was too curious. She fell and broke into pieces. Another old woman leaned out of the window and looked at the one that had broken into pieces, but because she was too curious, she also fell out the window, fell and broke into pieces. Then a third old woman fell out of the window, then a fourth, then a fifth. When the sixth old woman fell out of the window, I became fed up with watching them and went to Maltovsky Market, where they said a blind man had been presented with a knit scarf. The end. And finally, and by the way, I know it's pretty deep stuff. All right. Finally, a fable, and then after I tell the fable, I will tell a couple more traditional, funny stories. I know we're in a shot, and we'll have some awesome jazz. A fable. A certain short man said, "I'd do anything if only I could be just a little taller. If I was really good, I'd have a Russian accent, but you don't want to hear that." He had hardly finished saying this when he saw a witch stand. He had hardly finished saying this when he saw a witch standing in front of him. "What do you want?" the witch asked him. The short man stood there, and he was so frightened, he couldn't say anything. "Well," said the witch. The short man stood there and said nothing. The witch disappeared. At that point, the short man started crying and biting his nails. First he bit all the nails on his fingers, and then on those on his toes. Reader, think hard about this fable, and you will feel pretty strange. I will end on a couple things. It's been a wonderful long evening. Should I end on talking about women in politics? Should I end on talking about how I just went through heart surgery? Should I end on talking about
Heart surgery.
Heart surgery.
All right, we'll do this. I'll talk about heart surgery. It's not yet hilarious, and if that doesn't work, we'll do a quick little ditty in the middle.
Already hilarious.
Thank you. I actually am 3 months out of heart surgery.
Scars.
Hold on, let's not get greedy, ladies. Soon this Yes, I had heart surgery, thanks Obama. Actually, thanks Obama, because if it weren't for Obamacare, I'd be buried under 200 grand of debt or 6 feet of dirt. I have heart surgery, and I know I have heart disease. And you look at me, and I think I don't look like a candidate for heart disease. I know this body makes me look fat. And I am sort of in show business, so my blood has a high level of bullshit. But I don't know why I have heart disease, and no one knew why I had heart disease. You know, it's like I wasn't living Lindsay Lohan's life, but I had Wilford Brimley's disease. And no one knew, and so I went for this heart procedure called a catheterization. Some of you may have heard of it. It's where they go in through they make a little incision here in your leg, and they snake a little wire, a little camera up, and they look in your heart, because apparently the way to a man's heart is through his groin. Which has always been the truth, but we're to the left. And no one knew why I had heart disease. And I wanted to know. I'm a curious guy. And so you can actually stay awake during this procedure. You can choose to be totally awake. They just numb there. So I was wide awake, and I was watching on this little monitor, this little TV screen. And I was wide awake because I figured, hey, if I'm going to die, I want to get some jokes out of it. I'm watching on this screen, and I'm seeing my heart. And I'm seeing, the arteries and the blood flow and the blockages. And it's like this divinely inspired and beautifully designed machine that's supposed to pump and give life to greatness, and it's just inexplicably blocked. It was like watching C-SPAN, and I was watching it, and I want to give you guys, if you ever have the choice and you're getting surgery of any kind, heart surgery or anything else, there are 3 words you do not want to hear coming out of the doctor's technician's mouth. These are the 3 words. Sorry, sorry, sorry! I heard those. I was like, hey, you fixed one thing but caused another problem. It turns out it was nothing. It was like she fucked up on Words with Friends or something. I had some blockages. They put in these things called stents, which are little like sort of mesh metal things, so I'm like bionic, but not in a cool way. And I got all patched up, and now I have heart disease to deal with, and like it freaks me out a little bit for a few reasons. Number one, I want to be around. I want to provide for my kid. I mean, I haven't provided yet, but hopefully I want to provide for my kid. And what I really worry about is like science is it's incredible that we go in through our leg and I can watch my heart. Like science is amazing. And part of science is I'm now on these medications for the rest of my life. And we think they're good, but who knows what the side effects are going to be. You know, am I going to, get like X-ray vision? You know, it's going to be something creepy, like I'm going to grow breasts, which would defeat the need for the X-ray vision. I think you can see how that's beginning of a funny story. So, in conclusion, I will say this, I do worry about my son, I worry about the future of this world, and I worry about my own heart disease, I worry about a lot of things, and my solution to every problem is education. I think whoever you are, pursue your education. You want to be a comedian, great, have an education too. You want to be a singer, have whatever you want, have an education. I want that for my son. I particularly want a college education because, as you know, get a college degree. It's the difference between working at McDonald's and managing McDonald's. I just worry about how expensive it is. Right? Isn't college expensive? You know, there's books and tuition and Rufinol and don't do that. And their dates got up and left their drinks, and I was like, don't do that. It's cool. It'll be fine. College is expensive. Let me stay on target. College is expensive. And my kid, like, student loans. People here probably have student loans. Student loan issues. Give kids $100 grand, $200 grand. Don't say anything. So you graduate, and they call you up, they send you a text, they email you. When you move throughout the rest of your life, the first letter at your new apartment, student loan company. You cannot run from a student loan company. You cannot hide from a student loan company. Student loan companies will track you to the ends of the earth. I swear, if Osama bin Laden had a student loan, we would have caught him September 12th. Good enough, you guys.